good morning, good morning, and welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. Let me prop myself up a little bit because I'm a little bit low. Is that a bit better? Let me just fiddle with the camera a second. When I say I'm low, I don't mean low in spirit, I meant low in camera shot. So I just want to say good morning to Ivona and to Julia. Hello. Guess where I am? Oh, thank you for joining me on this Monday morning at 7 o'clock. This is a sign to me. Julia says, morning Jenny, morning Julia. You know, I was playing around with where I was going to shoot this. I'm currently inside and it's still dark and the sun's just starting to rise. I feel like taking you outside so you can see the lovely views that I've got, but I'll show you those in a little while. So thank you for joining me this Monday. I'll say hi to Ivona and hi to Julia, who are on so far. And I'll just say hello. I'm having a lovely time. I come back later though. I leave this afternoon, so I will be back later and firing on all cylinders all over again in the office tomorrow. So today's Monday Motivation is all about self-motivation. It's all well and good when we've got things to do, you know, whether we are at work, whether we're out and about. There's various different areas of our lives where it's almost like we need some sort of way to motivate ourselves. Some people call this procrastination, but I think this is something slightly different. And it could be that you're looking at your health and wellness, your fitness, and you know that there's something that you want to do, or know that there's something you're supposed to be doing and not quite getting there. It could be in your love life, you know, you could be single looking for love, you could be in a relationship looking to pare that down. And sometimes we don't know the best way to propel ourselves forward. It could be that we're at work and we want our professional life to develop, our career to go. We maybe want a promotion of some sort. And for those of us who are self-employed, we're maybe looking at having to promote ourselves. And in doing that, of course, we have the self-promotion piece, but then we have the 101 other hats that we need to wear in our business. So sometimes it feels like we're juggling a lot of things or not sure where to start first. So today is all about self-motivation, and I thought it'd be useful to look at ways of how we stop ourselves as well as ways of taking action. Now, just in case, and I will touch on this in more detail as we go through this morning's Monday Motivation. As we go through our lives, it's really good to have people around us that we say, this is the thing that we want to do. And they say, okay then, how can we help that happen? How can we make that happen? How can we help you do that? It's interesting because when I first came amongst such a community of people that would say, okay, done. How do we help you? How do we make it happen? To be honest, it felt a little bit too good to be true. But thankfully, I've been doing that in conjunction with when I started my business in 2010. And the leaps and bounds you can make when that happens is, you know, it's phenomenal. Hi, Ali. Good morning, Ali. So we've got Ali, we've got Ivona, we've got Julia on so far. Thank you for joining. And thank you for looking at motivating yourselves as well this morning. So here are some of the things that we do. And I think one of the things that I do want to mention, and I know that you guys watching are already in the Visibility Vibes tribe, I really want this community to grow because already I'm seeing these lovely friendships and connections starting to form, whether it's support that you're looking to receive or to give, whether it is a community of like-minded other people that have just got this positive vibe to them. I have to say, every time I kind of like go into the community and I go into the Facebook group and talk to people, respond to people's comments, I'm always blown away by how supportive, how brilliant you guys all are. What a great vibe you've got. You know, it's like no holds barred. And I want to say a public thank you to Julia, who shared something really lovely in the group yesterday. Thank you for sharing that, Julia. I know that the work that you put into that particular product that you shared, I know there was a lot of work that was involved in there. And I know the temptation sometimes for any of us can be to hold things closely and tightly to our chest, but you gave that so generously. And that was a really beautiful way in which in that community you helped somebody else in there as well. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And I know that Ali, Ivona, and many of you that come and watch these either on the live or on the replay, that you help so generously too. So thank you for doing that. So if you are watching this, back on replay, or I know some of you watch this just after or kind of halfway through, and like last week you were sharing it with people who had never kind of heard these messages before, who then came into the community. I'm so grateful for you for doing that. So if you want to find the Visibility Vibes tribe, then go to facebook.com/groups/get seen, get heard. Sorry, be seen, be heard, get visible. So that's facebook.com/groups, be seen, be heard, get visible. And if you go over there, you'll actually be in for a treat, because on Friday I asked the lovely, lovely Shah Wasman, MBE, to use her proper title, I asked if she could kind of just jump in and share some tips with the Vibers in there, who we've just gone over the 300 mark, which I'm really pleased about. Big enough community for you to all get kind of juicy and to know each other. And Shah shared I think the most amazing Facebook Live, really motivational, and so many of you said the same thing that I was feeling. I was watching by the pool, and so many of you said the same thing that I felt, which was that, it's a real, a nice kick up the pants. Lots of you felt motivated afterwards, lots of you feel driven. I'm sure that's why you've chosen to start your Monday mornings together and with me, because you've now got this fire in your belly, which you've always had, by the way, which has now been restoked. So another great way to motivate. And you're not going to be able to see this properly, because I know that when you hold things up, it goes up in mirror writing. So I should have had a mirror with a mirror with a mirror. But this is a visual on one of Shah's books. She's written 3 top, #1 best-selling books. And the latest one's been published by Penguin. This was Capstone Wiley. So she is what she calls herself a commercial publisher. This is the Stop Talking, Start Doing action book. It's got full of really practical tools, really sort of quick tips and tools, just to give you a kick up the pants. It's a sort of book that you could literally just open on any page, read one bit and go for it. So, self-motivation. How can we enhance this, and how do we stop ourselves? So, now it's all sunny and bright outside. Well, I say sunny and bright, it's light. I might have to do part 2 outside, although I don't want to mess around with the connection. We've got a really great connection this week, so let's go for that. So, one of the ways we stop ourselves is we don't always take action. Now, this is there's 3 points that I'm going to cover. So when we're self-motivating, so look into ourselves, because I believe that whilst watching and joining people like Shah, listening to people like me, and having that community, there's a certain energy, a certain spark that needs to be there within. And one of those is when we don't take action. So sometimes we feel demotivated, and because we feel demotivated on some level, and there could be a lot of reasons that start that, because we feel demotivated on some level, it's like we freeze, we don't take action. Sometimes this is around fear, and I'm going to come on to that in a second. But one of the best ways that I know to feel motivated, be motivated, when there's nobody else around that we can look to, speak to, kind of reach out and touch and ask for help, is to do something. Now, often people will say is to take action. I'm going to break that down even more, because when we say take action, that makes it sound like a really huge piece of something big that we have to do. And sometimes, in order to take action, we just need to take an action. There's a massive distinction between take action or take an action. So an action could be to get out your journal if you have one, or a notebook, and write down what you would like to do despite of everything. I'm going to use this as an example because I believe in being candid and open, and I welcome you to think of something that you achieved, doesn't matter how long ago it was, it could be yesterday, it could be last year, it could be 2 decades ago, or when you were a child, something that you achieved that you didn't think you were going to be able to achieve. So some people are like sports people. I know the lovely Helen, who isn't on this call today but is in the Visibility Vibes group as well, that she used to play volleyball professionally. I'm sure there would have been a point where it might not have even entered her mind that she would be playing that professionally or playing that at all. So my real life example, of course, was on Friday. I knew I was going to be away. I knew that the internet connection might not be great and that I wouldn't be able to do my usual Friday AM Facebook Live. Now, at that point, I guess I had a choice. I didn't feel like it was a choice, a logical choice, but I knew that I don't like to let people down, and I knew that some of the Vibers have come to expect an 11 o'clock Friday session, Facebook Live session. And I know that some people watch it back on the replay, but I didn't want to let those people down. I wanted to be able to show up for them. So as I was journaling, I wrote down in my journal, and I thought to myself, if somebody could like stand in for me, take my place, who would it be? And my first thought was, well, why don't I ask another Viber in the group? The only thing that I was concerned about was I wanted to make sure that I didn't kind of like throw someone in the deep end or put an added pressure on an already busy week, and it's at the end of the week. So that crossed my mind, and then I allowed myself to take an action. Now for me, if I can take what I perceive at that point an exponential action, a huge action, this actually excites me, it propels me. And for a lot of people, although they say, oh gosh, that would scare me, you notice the feeling of fear and the feeling of excitement are very close together. Not the same, but very close together. So I thought, I'll choose excitement first, fear, I can fear about it later. So I thought, if there's anybody that could kind of do that Facebook Live for me, who would I choose and why? So I went to my reason why. My why is, as you know, all about visibility, helping people to stand out so they can make a difference in the world. And because my why is about you and not me, so it's not important for me to be rah, rah, rah. If I had to choose between you and I'd rather get you out there first, get you sorted first. A bit like when people have small children, they say, let's get you ready first. Once you're all ready, then I can get ready. So I wanted to make sure that I could give something to you guys that was meaningful, that you'd be excited about, that, well, you'd be happy about, and that would be really useful. Not something you would take copious amounts of notes on and then 2 years later kind of kick into action. So, oh, there's a little alarm going off. Bear with me. So, well, actually, while I'm here, I'll get my water. So in order to have something meaningful for you, meaningful that you guys could use, meaningful that could really make a difference in your life, I just sat there and I thought, gosh, who's really rocking it for me right now? Like, if there was somebody that's making an impact in my life, making a difference in my life that I could share with the Vibers, who would it be? And there were a few people, but one person for me at that moment in time stood out, and I just thought, Shah Wasman. She just has this ability and this knack of being able to really propel people and get them going. And then I thought, well, this whole 6 degrees of separation type thing. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to ask her. I'm going to take an action. I'm going to take one action and make contact with her and ask her whether she would consider this. Now, in order to do that, I also had to not be attached to the outcome. It's a bit like sending somebody an invite. If you send somebody an invite, the answer is either yes or no. So be open to both. I think if you ask somebody to do something or send them an invite and their only option is one option, that's not an option, is it? So I put the message out. I explained what was happening, why, and also that, you know what, if this wasn't possible, that was okay too. And Shah came back and said yes. And, as I said in my email that I sent out to the people on my database, what a legend. She said yes, and she showed up and she did that session, which excited me, excited you guys, and really energised you all. And the reason I did that is because at the bottom of her book there, the Stop Talking, Start Doing Action book, she talks about practical tools and exercises to give you a kick in the pants. And sometimes we need a kick in the pants, don't we? So if you were on that call and enjoyed it, took anything away from it, you know, please put a comment below, because there are other people that probably watch these and think that I am, as I like to say, flapping my gums and just kind of making this up as I go along. And that's actually not the case. You'll know that I like to show up on camera in my most authentic way, you know, no studio, you know, not hair and makeup done. And the reason I do that is because I want you to be able to do that too. I want you to have the confidence to get out and do that too. So if you were on that call and you got anything from what Shah shared, you know, please just put, even if it's just one word underneath, please do type that on there. And thank you for the floating thumbs up that went across there. So quite often when we want to self-motivate, we stop ourselves by not taking an action. Now there's a reason for that. Sometimes the first place we go to is a place of fear. What does that mean? Well, we're human, we get scared. We all get scared. The difference is, do we act upon the fear or do we act upon the future thing that we're heading towards? So here's something to learn about fear. When we're scared, quite often something physiologically happens to our body where we freeze. Have you ever noticed that when you're scared of doing something or when there's a fear coming up, there's not a lot of motion in the body? We're very stoic, very static. We hardly move our head. We're less likely to speak, or we're more likely to speak quietly. So there are lots of different ways in which we enable ourselves to be fearful. In order for us to feel fear, we have to have a physical reaction in our body as well. And we're so practiced as human beings of doing that we go into automatic pilot. We don't even realise sometimes how we contribute to our own fear. So one of the things that we do is we become stoic, we don't move, we don't take action, and we don't then take an action, back to my previous point. So one of the other key words in that particular sentence, one of the things that we don't do is we don't allow ourselves to focus on the end goal or the thing that we're looking towards achieving. It doesn't even have to be the end of that goal, it can be the next step in that goal. You know, sending a message to Shah, it was a thought, and it would have been a really great thought to keep in my head, but I decided, actually, I'm going to action this, and I'm going to action it really quickly. And as soon as I'd thought of it, beginning of the week, I think I sat with it for 12 hours. And the reason that I did that was, I have a really, I'm kind of an entrepreneur, but I have a really creative mind. I popcorn spit, I call it. There's lots of ideas that fly through my mind, and sometimes they stick and sometimes they don't. So I've started just giving myself, rather than the recommended 24 hours, 12 hours to sit with an idea, to see if in 12 hours I still want to do the idea or want to work on it, and to see if it resonates, to see if I can just go for the next step to make it happen. So that's what I did. So to be fair, I don't think on this occasion I did it from a place of fear, but I didn't act on it straight away. So the point that I'm making here is, where do we put our focus? I could have put my focus on, well, I need to wait 24 hours, and actually Shah's probably very busy, or maybe I shouldn't do it, maybe I should ask one of the Vibers first, and I just went, no, I'm going to take an action. So I typed up the email, or typed up the message and sent that to her. One other thing that I did that propelled myself, because that was an action, I could have gone into the, will she say yes, will she say no, blah, blah, blah. But what I did next, and Shah might laugh at this if she ever reads or listens to this, the next thing that I did was I typed up the email that I wanted to send to my list to let them know what was happening. Again, no attachment. If Shah had come back and said, look, I can't do it, my schedule won't allow, fine. But I wanted to be able to sort of take another action So that's what I did. I created the email so that when she came back and said yes, that I could just go and send it out. So don't focus on the but what if, or what if this doesn't happen, because by doing that, that actually, again, is like kryptonite to ourselves. It takes away the motivation that we've got. And then the third thing is the way that we stop ourselves from being motivated is that we do things by ourselves. We do things alone. So, tell me, can you think of a time that you've done something and you've done it all by yourself? Can you think of a time where you've done something, you've done it with somebody else, and actually when you've done it with somebody else, whether it's one person or group of people, it's made a difference? I know that for me, in 2014, I joined a mastermind, and I chose to join a mastermind in America because the subject that the mentor was teaching was very, very specific to what I wanted to enhance. And interestingly, this was a subject, an area that I was really great at. It was all around public speaking and presentations, and it was around sales, both of which I'm quite good at. What I noticed about myself is that I'm really attracted to learning even more of what I love. And in the book by Tom Raith, Strength Finders, he talks a lot about doing a little bit of something that plays to your strengths every day. So I find that in that environment, if it's something that I love doing, something that's part of my strengths, and I play to it a bit more, I learn even more. And by learning even more, I can share even more. By sharing even more, I can make a difference in the world. So one of the things that I decided to do was to join a mastermind. And if you're not sure what a mastermind is, in short, this is a really quick and dirty version. They say two heads are better than one. Have you ever been to, it could be a dinner party, it could be to a networking group, it could be a room of people, it could be as few as 3 or 4 or 5, or as many as 100 or more, when it's like you've got all of those brains put together, all of those heads put together, and the ideas start to flow, the solutions start to be easily created, the support is given, people are lifting you up on their shoulders and kind of like going, woohoo, well done. Have you ever noticed the difference that makes? And for some of you that are working, in a corporate environment, it could be within a meeting. You could go into a meeting with a couple of ideas, a couple of solutions that you want to be able to attain or obtain. Masterminding is very similar. And one of the ways in which we can kind of enter that space and enter that sphere, as I mentioned before, is to get into a community, get into a group of people who have, there's an alignment of values, there's an alignment of results, there's an alignment of things that we want to do. So the long and short of this, and this is something that I see so many people do that really slows down their success, don't do it alone. There's a saying that says that you can move fast by yourself and you can move further with others. And this is a really great example of this. Sometimes we're doing stuff and we get stuck. We might be wanting to kind of lean over our shoulder and ask a question. We might want to have a bit of banter. We might want to offer something to see how it's taken up. It might be something new. We might want to share something or someone with other people, as I did on Friday. So sometimes we stop ourselves and demotivate ourselves by trying to do everything alone. Now, depending on where you are with this, you might say, but I'm an introvert and I like to spend a lot of time by myself. Well, being introverted means that you recharge your batteries by spending time with yourself, but you can still connect with people from behind a screen. You can connect with people within a book. You can connect with people at a workshop or an event or networking if that's your thing. You can connect with people through sharing like this. So tomorrow when I get back, I'm going to put an offer into the Vibers group, because a lot of people comment on Facebook Live, they comment on videos, they comment on how they can get out there. And for me, the pivotal piece, there's 12 very, very easy kind of steps that you can do over 12 days to enhance how you are on video, which can lead to Facebook Lives, Periscopes, webinars, educational videos, creating online programs, and even for some people, having the confidence just to stand in front of a group of people and speak. So If that's something that you know that you want to enhance, then do pop into the group and I'll let you know more about that tomorrow. But going back to the self-motivation, 3 things, and I want you to think of 3 actions that you can take today. And when I say actions, an action that you can take today to enhance your self-motivation, whether you deem it to be low, high, or anything in between. So what are you going to do to, first of all, take an action today? Not overall big action, just an action, another step. So think about that. Make sure you put that on a list. And what I would do when I do this exercise is I would make sure that thing, that action that I take comes or is done before midday. The next thing that I would say is, where are you focusing on the fear or on the what if this doesn't happen, but that might happen? Have a look at how can I make that happen, and a focus on that. And you know, what action can you take? What thing can you do? What book can you read? Who can you reach out to take an action on that? And finally, the doing it alone. Where are you doing something by yourself that is not serving you? It's causing you to feel panic, shame, worry, or anything else. What can you do with that? How can you transform that? So what small action can you take to enhance that? Now, I don't know if you've got any questions on anything that I've said there, and if you do, please, just type them in the box below before we end. But I thought, now the sun's come up and you can see the lovely view, that I would show you where I am and what it looks like. So bear with me. I'm just going to go out onto my balcony. There's my balcony. Look at this. I don't know how well you can see that. A very sleepy and cosy morning. And if I'm quiet for a couple of seconds, you'll also hear bird song. Can you hear that? Isn't that gorgeous? Bit of traffic noise as well. So I'll leave you with this lovely view. Go around and see if this will work. Oh no, it's a bit too bright behind me to do that. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming out. I'm just going to walk backwards now. This could be fun. Let's see if I trip over. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Keep motivated, and if you don't want to share here publicly on the page, do share in the group and let me know what you're doing today and how you're getting on. And, whoops, there you go, back in the holder. And if you're watching this and there's someone you've spoken to recently and you know they could do with a leg up, please feel free to share this video. And one more thing, if you want more motivation in your life, as many of you have been introduced to Shah's work or maybe have known of her work, every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. on Shah's public page, if you put in Shah Wasman, S-H-A-A, and then surname W-A-S-M UN for November D, search her page, go on at 6 a.m. and she will definitely give you a good kick up the pants to start your Wednesday. If you're going to be there, I'll see you there too. If not, have the most beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining me so early here from Portugal, and I look forward to seeing you next week and connecting with you in the week. Lots of love and bye for now.